we must also remember that some days back, they said that there was a new COVID, a new type of COVID,
a new pandemic in Tanzania.
In Tanzania, not the first one, just the way we had that there's a new type of COVID in South Africa and the UK. Yeah, and they had gone for the traditional way of steaming, of actually using herbal medicine. And you see, when it comes to such kind of pandemics, you know, pandemics, they're always funny. That they even claim those we feel that actually are strong. They even claim those we feel are experts in that particular area. So in this thing, when a pandemic breaks out, it is always a gamble in the first two, in the initial stages, until such a time when perhaps scientists come up with a formula that could help in solving that pandemic. So this in Tanzania, I think it should be an eye-opener that yes, COVID is real. It should be an eye-opener because very many people actually have died. Very many people have died in between, including the first vice president of
actually from when the first vice president died, President Magufuli himself reinstituted actually now the SOPs and told the people and do these SOPs, wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, do all the things. And I think the other thing that they added onto their SOPs was dieting to build herd immunity, was actually to diet. It will build herd immunity and all the things. Now it came in the wake of that pressure that came from the Catholic Church now, the Law Society, and quite a number of other stakeholders. Because when they publicly accepted that, the first vice president had actually succumbed to COVID-19. They just noticed and said, yes, there is a problem. Do you think now that Magufuli is gone, did you look at Suluhu's administration as giving a different approach to this disease? Because we've managed the problem differently. Different African leaders have had different approaches of managing this. And now do you look at them as adopting now? Because the issues of SOPs now are very stringent. They're very tough in Tanzania. You know, Ugandans are relaxing because we've gone through it for a whole year. Tanzanians are just realizing that, yes, the problem is actually real. They are steaming, they are doing all the things, immunity and stuff like that. Do you look at them as taking a different approach to that, or they will continue to say, we'll manage, whoever goes and whoever stays will stay?
No, I think this to me this is like the road to Damascus. It's going to be their turning point. Yes, because if you've been up,
the souls are turning into poles.
Yes, so if you've been using a particular approach, and that particular approach claims the life of you are actually one of the generals who was at the far front of the battle, definitely if you are the successor, you have to rethink and say, look, I think perhaps this particular strategy we used is not the best. We have to use another strategy. In 1985, when Al-Hassan Mwinyi became president, people were wondering whether he's going to continue with the Ujamaa policy. But remember, his predecessor, Mwalimu, had apologized, say, look here, I adopted Ujamaa, but I'm sorry. I think it was a mistake. So now, if really somebody has come up to say that I adopted this and I think I made a mistake somewhere, that's why when Al-Hassan Mwinyi came in, he liberalized, and that's why his nickname is Mzee Ruksa, because liberalization started liberalizing the economy, embracing capitalism. So I think this is also what Suluhu is going to do, that some of the policies, especially where Magufuli was seen to be a hardliner, and he was a hardliner, and in such a way that perhaps was hurting the economy, in such a way that was perhaps affecting the lives of people, I believe she may actually adopt a different approach.
Okay, even when Magufuli is coming from a very vanguard party like the CCM, of course, that has held on to power for 5 decades and so, the character, the persona of Magufuli was actually also a very different one, the man Magufuli himself, because when you look into the CCM business and the CCM politics, you wouldn't see Magufuli anywhere in queue. You could actually tell who comes on after Kikwete, maybe stuff like that. You've always had to see it. And Magufuli, from nowhere, comes, and of course he gets in there, then he also revolutionizes quite a number of things. Let's just look at now the person who comes on after Magufuli, taking over from Magufuli. Magufuli. Now, we didn't know what Magufuli would do, having seen what Mrisho Kikwete had actually done. Now, Magufuli comes on and he's all these things. First of all, he comes as a bulldozer. His other nickname was a bulldozer, Tinga Tinga, because that was his background. So he comes with that Tinga Tinga force. And now we see Dr. Samia Suluhu coming on, just doing the comparisons of the two heads here, Professor Lochetieno Lumumba, PLO Lumumba, actually had coined something to say Africa needs to be Magufulified. Yeah. You know, the Magufulification yes. of Africa. Now, Magufuli had become a concept that maybe Africans would follow. Let's look at the successor, just now doing the comparisons of the personalities.
Well, I have had the opportunity to interact with Mama Samia. So,
Mama Samia.
Yes, and what I've seen is that she's a pragmatic woman. She's a hands-on woman. And she's not there to fill space. You know, there are some countries where the vice president is there to fill space, perhaps to appease a particular area. Because she's very eloquent. She's learned. She's highly traveled. She's a respected woman.
Very exposed.
Yes, very exposed. So I believe she has all it takes if the party can support her, because what happens here is to have the backing of the party. So if the party can support her, I believe she has all it takes to run the country for the next 5 years. That one actually I'm very sure. But also in a country where you have systems and the party has solid systems. I'll give an example. When Kikwete was president of Tanzania, there was an incident that happened in Bukoba. The district commissioner, the ones we call RDCs here, walked to a primary school and found that teachers were not there. So when the teachers came late, he waited for them. He called a parade, the students at the parade, and he caned the teachers when the students were singing. So that story was picked on by BBC, and it was a huge scandal for a district commissioner to do such a humiliating act. So I remember that President Kikwete called the CCM district committee of Bukoba that they should have an urgent meeting. Whatever decisions that they will take, that will be final. So the district executive committee of Bukoba, the district executive committee of the party in Bukoba, decided that the district commissioner should be relieved of his duties, and the next day he was sacked. So that shows that the party is in charge. Yes, to this, Mama Suluhu Hassan, with the backing of a strong party that is almost everywhere in Tanzania, yes, I believe she can really move on. She can really lead the people of Tanzania up to the end. It's not going to be like a situation Joyce Banda had in
exactly.
In Malawi.
I was going to bring the same
because
in Malawi.
Joyce Banda, first of all, she didn't have the backing of the party because she had actually decamped and she had formed a different party. Even the state machinery was not in for her. So the 2-3 years she was president, it was actually a hassle. That the next election, of course, she lost miserably. So, but now in this particular situation, Mama Suluhu Hassan has the backing of one, CCM as a party, but also to the government in Tanzania.
President Museveni was speaking to us on a Sunday, the 14th, and of the thing that he talked about, of the 3 points that he talked about, he also emphasized the unity of the region, because that's another thing. Now, you had President Migai Kenyatta there talk and say how they met with Magufuli, they opened the road, the southern bypass, did all the things, also invited him to his home in Chato, had slept there, did all the things, and this is for the region of Africa Mashariki. Now Mama Suluhu comes on. President Museveni was appointed by them, was chosen by them to actually be the forerunner of the region's integration. Now moving from Tanzania, where you have Chama Cha Mapinduzi as a very vanguard party, and their systems there, in that Suluhu has actually been vice president for the entire term. So it's not something that maybe just happened in overnight, that it was their first term and possibly she hasn't been there, she doesn't know what to do. She's been there, she's been under the presidency at least for 5 years. So yes, exactly. So she's had, the clout of the presidency. So she just takes on after Magufuli. But by looking at the region of East Africa now, do you see her as being a very good champion of the region's integration, or it will be only issues of Tanzania and the rest will cater for themselves?
No, Mama Suluhu Hassan comes on the scene, of course, after Kaziwe, because Kaziwe was the first woman vice president
in the region.
Not only the region, even on the continent.
But even in the region.
Oh, yes,
on the continent, of course, but in the region.
Yes. So she comes after her. But in this particular case, she is now the acting president of Tanzania, maybe until a certain time, either to swear her in to that she's now the legal or the legitimate president of the country,
of the United Republic.
Yes, but I think she, of course, being the only woman among the males now, she will actually inspire so many. Yes, she will inspire so many, because now when you look at in East Africa, the first women to say, look, I think we can also lead the country. We had people like the late Professor Wangari Maathai. We had people like Charity Ngilu, who stood actually, it was in 1997. That is when they stood and said, look, I think also we have all it takes to become presidents. So
Martha Karua.
Yes, years later, the Martha Karua came on board. Years later here in Uganda, actually that was 1997. Years later here in Uganda, we had the Mama Miriam Bote. Yes, we had Betty Kamia. So the list has been long of people who have come up to say, look, I think it's time for women to lead. Now, the other issue that the fact that Magufuli would maintain her and the CCM would maintain her as the running mate for the second term, it means they were very satisfied with her services. Then her coming on board also will settle the question of Zanzibar. Because Zanzibaris have always been saying, look here, we just had one president out of the 5. So they only had Al-Hassan Mwinyi. But also they say again, even the Al-Hassan Mwinyi you say is from Zanzibar, was born and raised on the mainland, though he's a Zanzibari. So I think her coming on board will also give some kind of satisfaction to the people in Zanzibar who are predominantly Moses. I think one of our own is now in charge.
Okay, well, I call Monday. Well, I just want to thank you, and maybe Sam, we'll stop this here for today, and just let our viewers know we'll turn tomorrow in our Pan-African Friday to continue with the discussion on Dr. Pombe Magufuli. Is that so?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you so much. To the people in Tanzania, we still, again, mourn and stand with you. Tu na wasema that we know Uganda itamkosa Dr. Magufuli, Tanzania itamkosa sana Dr. Magufuli, na tunajua Afrika pia itamkosa sana rais wa wanyonge Dr. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli, na tunaomba tu mubali rambirambi zetu. Tunasimama na nyinyi wote wa Tanzania and the rest of the Africans kwa katika this very bad time ambao mkoni, lakini kubali rambirambi zetu. Tutamkosa sana rais Dr. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. We'll stop this here now.
In Uganda we say Makiwa Buriani Daktari
right, Magufuli. No. Well, thank you so much. We'll stop it here now, and we'll return tomorrow and continue with our Pan-African Friday. My name is Jagenda Semakola Ziksoka. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Kwate simu! Kwate simu! Kwate simu! Kwate simu! For the first time in Uganda,